Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Super excited about today's video. Today is part 2 of my two-part series on 7 makeup mistakes to avoid. The first video was on complexion, so we were talking foundation, concealer, powder, blush. Today's video is all about eye makeup. So I'm going to show you guys, or tell you guys, 7 common eye makeup mistakes that I see all the time and how to correct them. So you guys can kind of see how, I'm actually creating a similar eye look in both my mistakes and my do's. I'm using the same products, but they look so different. The results are so different. So I'm going to share with you those 7 common makeup mistakes. Let's get started. So the first makeup mistake is overdone brows. Now, brows are so important. They frame the face, they frame the eye. It is very important to fill your brows in, shape your brows if you need it. Some of us are blessed with beautiful, full, perfectly shaped, symmetrical brows. I am definitely not one of those people. A good rule of thumb is brows are sisters, not twins, but they definitely should not be distant cousins. So what that means is they need to look similar, but don't obsess and try to make them like exactly perfect. In fact, I think that can kind of lead to the first mistake, which is overdone brows. You want them to look natural. You want them to look soft. You want them to be defined and filled in, but not too harsh, not too strong. I think that there was a period in time 15 years ago or so where the strong arched rectangular brows were a thing, but that is going to give a very harsh look to the face. So really try and create a soft brow. I personally like to use a brow pencil to kind of fill in and shape the brow. Then I like to go over it with a brow gel that has some fiber to it, like little fibers to it, because it gives more fullness to my brows. And I think the two in combination really help blend and work well together. The pencil can easily be a little too drawn in, but when you go with the brow gel adds a more full, softer look. Now, makeup mistake number 2 when it comes to eyeshadow is not priming the eyelid. Primer is so important, you guys. Primer not only, makes your shadow go on more pigmented and more rich and more beautiful, it helps it blend out better, and it also keeps it on all day. So if you're gonna go through the trouble of applying eyeshadow, why wouldn't you put a primer? You want your work to last all day. That is a step I do not skip. My favorite eye primer at the moment is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. I like to choose a primer that's a little thinner in consistency. And personally, I like it to be sheer because then you can wear any shadow with it. And this primer is exceptional. It really does what it says, which is grip the shadow, but it still allows you to blend it out easily. It doesn't grip it and then stick. It allows you to blend out. It's just kind of beautiful. I can't explain how they do that, but I love it. It's definitely a wow product. The first time I used that product, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I love that primer. I also like the MAC Paint Pot in the shade Soft Ochre. If you like a thicker primer that has a little bit of color, that's a nice one because it can cancel out darkness on the lid or veins and kind of give a brighter canvas if you have really dark lids. But a primer is a definite. Okay, you guys, this is probably my favorite makeup mistake to share, and it is applying too dark of a transition shade off the bat. So the first shade you apply needs to be a shade that is matte, and it needs to be a couple of shades darker than your skin tone, but not too drastic. You can eventually get there and add that darkness like I have today, but you want to start out with a lighter shade first. Now, I'm going to show you guys kind of my before picture with the makeup mistakes, and then the makeup that I have on now. It's a very similar look. I actually used all the products that I used in the makeup mistakes I used in this look. They're all here. I just added a couple extra steps to this look to make it look more blended, more airbrushed, and just softer and beautiful. I still have that drama in the outer corner with that dark shade, but because I started with a lighter transition shade and then worked my way up, everything looks softer and prettier and just more complimentary. So I know it's easy and we just want to go in right away with the dark color, but try and avoid it. Take the extra 30, 60 seconds to throw something in there between. The idea is that you're creating shape to the eye. You are creating the look of a natural crease and a natural shadow. So you want that shade to not be too much of a contrast from your natural skin tone. So eye makeup mistake number 4 is doing too thick of liner on the upper lid. Now this I see a lot, and some of us like that. We like that. We've been doing our makeup like that for 15, 20 years, and I get it. And again, if that is you, just you can do this. Don't listen to me. Again, it's makeup is personal. It is really what makes you feel beautiful. Let me tell you why thick eyeliner on the upper lid can actually work against making your eyes look open, big, and beautiful. So liner actually while it can define the lash line, that's what it's intended to do. It's intended to define the lash line and make the lash line look thicker and fuller. But when we create a liner that's too thick, we do a couple of things. We now close the eye off, especially if it's a dark or a black liner, it closes the eye off. And especially if we don't smoke or smudge it out. It just creates this thick, harsh border and makes that eye look smaller. Also, if you are someone with hooded eyes or smaller eyelids like me and you don't have a lot of real estate to work with on the lid, using a thick liner is basically covering up all the work that you've done with your shadow. So yes, while you look down or walk around with your eyes closed, you can see your shadow, but when you're talking to someone, having a conversation and, doing normal facial expressions, all they are gonna see is that thick, harsh liner. Okay, so makeup mistake number 5, I may have some resistance from, and I might have some of you guys that are like, Lisa, you're crazy. I can't believe you said that. But it is applying black liner on the lower lash line. So I'm talking underneath your lashes. It's harsh. It is harsh. Yes, some people can pull it off, and there are looks for that, right? There are smoky, dramatic looks that, that looks totally appropriate. I'm talking about your day-to-day, everyday beauty. Black liner on the lower lash line is very harsh. And again, kind of the same reasoning behind why we don't do a thick liner on the upper lash line applies to this reasoning. It closes the eye off. It looks really harsh and hard. It's the same thing with really harsh eyebrows. It's just the eyes, you want to have a nice soft look to the eyes, and black is just too intense in my opinion on the lower lash line. You can still get drama and definition by using a rich chocolate brown. I personally love to use a brown or a bronze or even a plum shade that has shimmer to it. I love using a shimmery eye pencil on the lower lash line. The shimmer reflects light, so it gives a softer look. It doesn't look as harsh as like a matte pencil. Some of my favorite pencils are Puppy Eyes from Fenty Beauty. I also love MAC Teddy, which is what I have on today. I also love eye crayons or cream shadow sticks. Those work beautifully because they are a softer look than a liner. So makeup mistake number 6, and it's the last one, and it's still on eyeliner. We can make a lot of mistakes when it comes to our eyeliner. And this was definitely a trend. This might upset some of you. My apologies if it does. Is lining the inner rim with a dark, dark liner. Again, it is a look, and there are times when it can be the look. If I think of going to a New Year's Eve party or an evening party or, just a party or festive dramatic makeup, I think that looks appropriate. For day to day, again, it's just very harsh, especially when it's black or dark color in the waterline. Using a nude or flesh tone eyeliner in the inner rim, you guys know if you watch my videos, that is my favorite eye makeup hack. It brightens the eye. I have it on today. You want to avoid using white liners, something that looks really stark, but you want something with a little peach, nude, or pink tone to it, or yellow. It looks really beautiful. It brightens the eye. It opens it up, especially contrasted with a lower lash line. It just looks very bright and wide-eyed, makes the eyes look, beautiful, big, and wide awake. Okay, and the last makeup mistake for eye makeup, makeup mistake number 7, is applying a brow highlight that is too shimmery. Now, I'm all for a little bit of sheen and highlight on the brow bone. That's gonna lift the brow bone, and it's very beautiful, but avoid something really frosty and shimmery. It just looks very distracting. It is very distracting, and also throughout the day, if it's really frosty or shimmery, it tends to kind of what's the right word, meld with the rest of your eye makeup. And if you have a dark color in the crease, all of a sudden that darkness spreads to the top. It doesn't look soft and pretty, and throughout the day it's going to look heavy and just way too dramatic for enhancing your natural beauty. So while you can use something with a sheen, I actually like to use the Hourglass powders. The strobe powders are really beautiful because they have a little bit of a sheen. You can also use, an eyeshadow that's a satin formula. The brush that you use to apply it makes a huge difference too. So if you are, you have one palette and that palette has a super shimmery shadow. Let me show you guys this. Like this one, for example, this is really shimmery. This was actually the shade that I used in my makeup mistakes video. Okay, so when you put that on the skin, you can see how frosty that is. I'm gonna show you a trick. So if I were traveling and I just had this palette, I could use the face highlight, that's less, but let me show you guys something. So if you take these two brushes, this brush is smaller and more dense, so this one is gonna pick up and apply a ton of product. This one is softer and fluffier, so it's gonna apply product in a much softer, lighter way. So let me show you guys. So we're traveling and we don't have anything else but a super shimmery brow highlight. Let me show you what this looks like when you take this brush on the hand, and if I were to apply this, that is the payoff that I get. So then again, I'm gonna get too frosty of an application for underneath my brow. We're speaking specifically underneath the brow. This would look beautiful on the lid, okay? So I'm gonna take a fluffier brush and I'm gonna pick up the same product and I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna really load the brush up. And I'm gonna use this to apply it. And I'm gonna apply it right next to where we put the other one. Okay, so do you see it? That is the exact same product. So this is applied with a fluffy brush. This is applied with a dense brush. So that's a little trick for you, okay? If you only have a super shimmery shade in your palette, apply it with a fluffier brush and you'll get a much lighter, softer, prettier, more complimentary application. All right, you guys, that wraps up my 7 makeup mistakes for eye makeup. I hope you enjoyed this video. These are my favorite to film. I just love teaching makeup. It's my passion. So tell me what you learned. It'll totally make my day if you share a little tip or trick that you learned from this video or something that I forgot and missed, because we all have things to contribute here and I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me. I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.